15,000 peacekeepers were sent to Liberia after 2 civil wars that killed hundreds of thousands of people. The wars became known for their use of child soldiers, recruited by warlord-turned-president Charles Taylor. The UN's job was to disarm fighters on both sides and train up a new police force and army. These police officers are on a drill to demonstrate their readiness before the UN returns control of security to the country's military and police. It's a proud moment for this West African country, which has had UN peacekeepers since 2003.
I got with the community members and we held community meetings, we held community forums, and we asked the citizens what were their problems, and we shut our mouths and we listened, and we stepped back and we took notes. Now these might not sound like big things, but in totality, when you create 30 or 40 of these programs, and each one of them appeals to a different type of person, you're making the community happier as a whole with the services that are provided. So what that does in essence is makes people call the police more, tell the police more information, so you can adjust your tactics. So in about a 2-year period while I was the chief of police, after creating 40 plus community-based programs, we went from the number 28 safest city to the number 1 safest city in the entire state. And that was not because of me. That was because the community, the citizens and the officers decided to partner with the citizens. And if you don't forget that you work for the citizens, you will be very successful as police officers.
I was very fortunate. I have parents that are still married to this day for more than 51 years. My father was a United States Marine for 22 years, so I grew up as a military brat. We moved all around. I was born in Beaufort, South Carolina at Beaufort Naval Hospital while my dad was assigned to Parris Island as a Marine. And from there, we went to Louisiana, California, then back to Virginia in the DC area. And my dad retired in around about 1986. And after 5th grade, we moved back to the upstate, to the Malden, South Carolina area. And I've been here ever since. I went to Malden High School. The only time I left was when I went internationally for 6 years working in police work in a leadership role. And then on top of that, I was a special agent with the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, and I got stationed in Kansas. I've been blessed. In my life, I have 4 children, and they're all still in school. None of them have graduated from high school yet. I have 2 in high school this year, 1 in middle school, and 1 starting elementary school. So I'm a family man. I love my children. I love my family more than anything. Community policing to me is everything. I actually came into law enforcement under a COP grant, Community Oriented Policing Grant, in 1998. For me, community policing is a partnership with the citizens where we ask the citizens what their needs are and we dictate how we respond based upon those needs. So I don't come in as a chief of police, no matter how much experience I have, and say, well, I'm going to do this, this, and this, until I speak with the citizens and I learn what their needs are. And then I adjust and allocate manpower accordingly. Well, my goal is second to none, make it the best police department in the state, first and foremost. And then we'll achieve higher than that after that. But initially, I have to gain the public's trust and I have to gain the trust of my department. And that'll start with my command staff, making sure that I implement that community policing philosophy department-wide. I gain their trust and we push that down to the line officers. And if you take care of your employees, I've learned this as a previous chief of police, you take care of your employees, in essence, they'll take care of the citizens and you'll have a better product. I love the interaction with people. As a police officer, you interact with people a lot of times, unfortunately, at a low point in their life. And you can bring some light to that situation. You can help them to resolve matters. I'm old school in my mind, you know, as far as police work goes. Originally, police officers back in the 20s and 30s were called peacekeepers. I firmly believe that as police officers, when we respond to an incident, our initial goal should be to keep the peace. It's so important to keep the peace. If we go there with the intentions of making an arrest instead of problem solving, then we're going to run into confrontations more often. So, as the chief of police, I'll give my officers a discretionary power to make decisions that are in the best interest of the community. You know, what I learned working deep undercover for 6 years at the city level, the county level, I work with the state, I work with the feds undercover. It really opened my eyes to a lot of things that I personally was not exposed to growing up in what I call a perfect atmosphere. Both my parents were together. My mom stayed at home, my father worked. But I did not realize that how many crimes are related to drugs. For example, if somebody's out there stealing, a theft, they may be stealing to support a drug habit. If there's a domestic violence situation, it may be because of substance abuse. So in some way, shape, or form, I firmly believe that 95% of all crimes have some sort of a drug nexus or a link to it. As we all know, fentanyl, heroin, all these other opioids out there are the primary drug of abuse in America right now. Last year, we had over 100,000 overdoses. This is a priority across America, but you must take a three-pronged approach. You can't come in and just enforce the law. You can't arrest your way out of that situation. You have to have a component at the beginning that can be a medical component to assist people, can also be an educational component. We got to hit them while they're young. We got to get to the children before they try the drugs the first time and hopefully prevent that from happening. Then, in the middle, we got to have enforcement. There has to be some level of enforcement. And on the end, this is where we work with prosecutors. If somebody is a trafficker, not just a user caught with user possession amounts, we go after the traffickers. They need to go to prison. But if you're a user and you're an addict and you need help, that's where we need to work with the hospital systems, with different rehab centers, both private and public, in order to get them help. Because we want to end that cycle. Because they're going to get back. And a lot of times you start as an addict, then you become a dealer, then you become a trafficker. You get it to a higher level if you don't get overcome by extreme addiction. You just get greedy for the money. But the thing I tell drug dealers is this. You may deal drugs every day. You have to get lucky every day not to get caught by the police. We have to get lucky one time to catch you. When I was chief of police, we increased our drug arrests and our drug crimes detected 287%. in a window of time of 2 years. And how did we do that? I brought in free training from members of the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration that I used to work with. They came in and trained my entire department in drug investigations. So everybody had a basic knowledge. When they went out there on a traffic stop, they responded to a scene, they could see these things, and this is an indicator of this, which is drug related. So let me take it a step further. An average officer, like my upbringing, who never was exposed to those things, would not see that, and they may overlook something unintentionally and put themselves in danger or the public in danger. You know, to me, the biggest problem when I was chief of police, the biggest complaint I had was speeding. Those are the things that impact the average good citizen, the person that doesn't commit the crimes that are more serious, like the robberies, the thefts, the drug trafficking. So that's something that's very important to the community. We have to slow people down. More people die from traffic accidents than almost anything. Unfortunately, now the younger crowd, more people are dying from overdoses, but traffic accidents, traffic fatalities, DUI enforcement, those things are vital to keep the community safe. And a lot of that starts with an education process. A lot of times, as police officers, we can give warnings for a long period of time when we saturate an area. Let everybody know publicly on the websites, hey, we're coming to this area and we're doing traffic enforcement. We're not trying to surprise anybody. We actually want you to be deterred. We want you to know we're out there, because if that slows you down enough to prevent an accident or save your life, that's what it's about. So traffic is a big thing. Uniform patrol officers are the front lines, and those are the ones that are going to be doing the traffic enforcement. They're the most important, vital asset to any department. They're the people that have the direct citizen contact every day. In law enforcement, we've learned through data-driven approach to crime and traffic safety, GDAX they call it, that criminals are mobile. Criminals travel from one jurisdiction to the other. As a law enforcement agency, we have to network and work with surrounding agencies and spread ourselves out even across the nation or internationally through Interpol and other groups like that in order to tackle criminal elements. Even the basic of criminals may come in from outside of the city into the city, commit a crime, then go back maybe out in the county or out somewhere in the state. It is important and vital for us because of jurisdictional boundaries to work hand in hand with other agencies. I want them to know that I'm a cop's cop, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to hold you accountable. Accountability is very important. People are watching us 24/7, all hours. What you do on duty and off duty can affect you as a law enforcement officer. But understand this, if you are in the right and your intentions were right, I will have your back. I will stand beside you, and I know the mayor will do the same thing. I came here and visited Lawrence, and I hadn't been here in a long time because I've been overseas the last 4 years, and we hung out downtown, and it just had a totally different vibe from what I'd seen many years ago here. It's more of a younger, hip, just peaceful atmosphere. Everybody was so friendly. I went and hung out, went to the bake shop and talked to the owner there. People came in, drank coffee, ate muffins. It was just a family atmosphere, but yet there's a lot going on. I just see so much future growth that's going to happen, and we got to make sure that that growth is organic and it's real, and I feel like the mayor's doing a phenomenal job at putting things together, and he's putting a team in place that brings different innovative ideas, and people are open to those things as long as it's something that they need. Blue. Always wear blue. Mint chocolate chip, without a doubt. But I gotta try and stay away from it. The older I get, the more it puts pounds on me. That's a tough one. That's a real tough one. Oh man. Let me think on that one. Hold on. My favorite movie overall. I like cop movies, unfortunately. I like, narcotics movies. Blow is one of my favorite movies. Old school, Shawshank Redemption, Braveheart, The Green Mile. I love watching movies. So I can sit up all night long and watch movies, but I just don't have that much time anymore. I try and eat healthy, but I love pizza, Italian food. I love meatloaf, mashed potatoes and gravy, green beans, country southern food. My mom was a great cook. My fiance is a wonderful cook. Everybody in my family can cook. I can cook, but I just don't have a lot of time to cook. Woodwork. A lot of people don't know that about me. I can build about anything, and I actually enjoy doing it. It's kind of a time where I can just have peace and quiet and just work with my hands and not have to think too detailed about the world's problems and issues that are going on, and I use that as my time to get away. They can expect experienced leadership from day one. I've been blessed enough in my career the last 24 years to have worked all over the United States, from the city level to the county level to the state level, and then at the federal level. And then I was blessed enough to work internationally. And I spent 6 years internationally working with more than 30 plus national police forces around the world. So I've seen an array of different police styles and a lot of different things. Some things I liked, some things I didn't like, but I'll take some of those things and bring them to Lawrence if those are the needs of the citizens.